Hello, hello. Ederson Oliveira here for DNNHero.com. I have with me Scott Wilson. Scott, how are you, man?
Hey, I'm doing great.
Okay, so let's start with the most important thing uh, over the last few weeks, few days, which is DNN Connect, or was DNN Connect. Scott, you are our official, how can I say, official, no, that person that goes to other countries, that reporter that goes to other countries,
Ambassador.
ambassador. So you are an official ambassador on the DNN Connect for us. So report back, tell us what happened there.
Yeah, happy to do that. Uh, it was in Malo, France, if people didn't know that already. And Malo, France is hard to get to, we found. It's a town. It's not a major city, so a little bit hard to get to. But like I said to Don at the DNN user or our Chicago user group meeting, what Malo lacked in accessibility made up for in beauty. So you'll see in these pictures, if you could see them on the screen here. So it was at this little resort that was just outside the city, nestled in a hill. And as you can see, the views were spectacular. It's kind of in the lower Pyrenees Mountains. So a little bit different than the U.S. events in West Palm and Orlando. I mean, those are nice cities, but not quite that have the views like this. You know, beautiful weather the whole time. We ate outdoors almost the entire time. My wife came with me because we kind of turned it into a vacation, and you could see this is right outside the resort, and you could see that the Malo Viaduct, I believe it's called, is it's the tallest cable bridge in the world, I think is what Wikipedia says. So you can see that in the background. And we stayed at these little chateaus, so a lot different than our normal, you know, staying at in a school and a hotel, you know, and this is quite a bit different. So we stayed in these little chateaus, which are these little cabins, beautiful views. Whoops, here we go. They all had a little porch, and what's nice about that porch is you could take the obligatory vacation selfie with of your feet, which my wife did here. The parasailing was happening right above our heads. They would be coming down, and the landing strip for the parasailers was right below the resort. So that was distracting, but in a good way. You can see this is the view right from the main session area where just people were parasailing down below. Well, I keep clicking the wrong thing. And here's the main conference hall. Joe Brinkman, this is actually a picture of his session. I didn't get one of his keynote, but there was two keynotes, one from Elon, I can't remember his last name, from Microsoft, and he was obviously talking about the future of Microsoft and MVC5 or ASP.NET 5 and MVC. It was really cool. His session was really cool too about, I mean, he's one of those guys that could actually code during his session and it actually worked. I can never do that because you don't want to see me code live. It'd just be a lot of cursing and yelling and so anyway, but this is Joe Brinkman's, this is what it looked like for Joe Brinkman's session, but he actually did the keynote in this room as well. He talked about the history of DNN, nothing major to talk about there, you know, but he's talked more about less about VNext and more about DNN 8, which is coming out in September. So VNext is sort of still really high level, nothing really to talk about, but he did talk about, and we haven't mentioned it lately, but about DNN 8 and about how they're trying to take the platform and kind of deconstruct it and make it more lean, you know, like having just a platform separated from the CMS and maybe having a packaging process that allows for different types of packaging, kind of like they do with Evoke, but on the platform level, so that potentially like Too Sexy Content can come out with a DNN package that includes the Too Sexy Content with the DNN platform, but also is easy to upgrade because it's still just the platform. You know what I mean? So they're talking about that as well as obviously the new stuff, the MVC and that kind of stuff.
If I understand this right, they want to decouple the platform from the CMS.
Yeah.
And they want to be able to create different deployment packages. One deployment that is just the platform, another one that, hey, you also want the CMS? Okay, so here's the platform plus the CMS. You know, is that the idea?
Right, that's the idea. So that you could have multiple, you could have the community actually distributing the platform as part of their product, you know, but still making the packaging process such that it doesn't make you fork the product. It just makes you have to repackage and create, you know, and make that as easy as possible.
Okay, just a comment here. This picture looks like a church, an old church, and Joe is the priest up there, just preaching to their congregation, you know, to his congregation.
Yeah, right. Interesting. So there was the conference was 2 days, so they were able to have less concurrent sessions because you stretch it out over 2 full days. So there's only 3 actually session rooms. This was the main one, which was, yeah, it does. It looks like an old church. It's all a stone building. The other one was a tent that was just off of that I did a session in. And the other one was another stone building that looked like, I called it the cave because it looked just like just a stone arch, like where they just would store wine or something. So this is another view of the main session room. Had a large glass opening and it looked out to that beautiful view that you saw before. And you can see that Kathy from, I forget the company, but they're in below. Do you remember their name? Not Nevo. Is it Nevo Web?
Nevo, yeah, Nevo.
Yeah, I think they're. Yeah, so she was a big part of this, and of course Peter behind her, and you could probably make out some of the faces in the crowd, Joe and Ash, and I think this is the guy. I think his name is Elon from Microsoft. This is the cave. You see Mitch Sellers is doing his presentation there. This is a cool shot of it. I think it's a cool, you know, to see, you know, us look. I think this is Elon actually. He's presenting, you know, 2015 next generation technology in a 300 or 400-year-old stone stone wine cellar or whatever this used to be. Yeah, this is kind of neat. And this is the tent, and I did a couple sessions. I did the implementing workflow in DNN modules, which again is a DNN Hero video, and I did, on the second day, I did the new one that we just put up, which is the next generation development stack. Everybody in my sessions got the 1 free month trial, so hopefully they've been taking advantage of that. I think we have about 35 sign up for that across my sessions. Yeah, so really good response to that so far.
That can just mention a few things there. If I hope that everyone on that session, that the list that Scott provided me, got a notification about their access. If you have not gotten yours, just contact me. My email is ederson@dnnhero.com. You can see my email on the homepage of dnnhero.com. So again, if you have not got your access, get in touch with me and I can provide that to you.
Yeah, great. Hopefully we got everybody. Here's a picture of me just doing one of my sessions in the main room. Very cool pool. Had that infinity edge, you know, those, and looked out over the landscape. So on Saturday, after the sessions were done, everybody, a lot of people took advantage of that. It was actually a warm day. That's what it looks like at night. As you can see, that's on their homepage of the DNN Connect website. It's awesome. On Friday night, so just like in the DNN Con, we have those 2 outings at night. The Friday night was like a wine and hors d'oeuvres and just kind of people mingling. And it was at a winery, so they loaded us all up in a bus and took us over there. can't remember the name of the city now, but it was just next door to Malo. And because it was raining, we sort of had to all gather into this large the large room with all the wine vats in it, which is pretty neat. But we were all kind of mingling around, drinking wine, eating off hors d'oeuvres that are on tables, and then we made our way. We spilled into the main area of the winery, that the storeroom, and so that was kind of a unique way to do it. Instead of having us sit down and just talk to the people around us, they just put tables out with food and wine, and we all just walked around and mingled. It was pretty neat. And then on Saturday night, they turned that main hall into a big dining hall, and we actually had a sit-down meal there. And as you can imagine, wine was very plentiful in France. We went to the grocery store, and I think we were looking at the prices of the wine. Bottles were typically between 4 and 15 euros. So in some cases, it's cheaper than drinking soft drinks. During the thank yous and the wrap up, they presented Sean with a thank you t-shirt, and even though he's not an MVP or not part of DNN Corp anymore, he still was just very moved by the community and and how much appreciation they've been giving him, and he just let everyone know that he still loved to be part of it, and was just real thrilled, to be part of the community still.
He is MVP. He is one of the MVPs.
I think in spring he was a spring MVP, and that was given to somebody else. I'm not sure. Speaking of MVPs, they announced the spring MVPs for this coming season, and several of the European guys like Philip Becker and Vincenz and got either reinstated or there was new MVPs. But one guy caught my attention when they were announced, and that is ours truly. Adderson is now a new first time, right? MVP, right?
First time, and to be honest, I don't know what I'm doing there. I mean, I'm just gonna keep the title as they figure out, what this guy is doing here. But but again, I just want to quickly say something that I forgot to mention on the first meeting that we had about 2 weeks ago. I forgot to thank them, to thank Joe and the other MVPs and the whole community for the nomination and the award. I don't know how they call that, but I'm proud and thrilled, and I hope that again I can continue for the course of the year to deserve that title, and again, until they figure out that they put the wrong person there, I'll stick around.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I felt when I got it last fall. So this coming fall, we'll see whether or not I stick around or not. But that's the thing, and that's what when I texted you during that, I was texting you. Do you remember that? And that was actually during the dinner, right when it happened. Because luckily that was at night, so it was your day, And I did turn around. Joe Brinkman was sitting right behind me at the other table, and I did start talking about it. And he told me, "Oh, Adderson doesn't need to thank me. This isn't DNN Corp or my thing. This is the, other people voted, the MVPs voted, and you are nominated because of a lot of it has to do with DNN software, how much you've been spending, doing either blogs or answering questions. So a lot of it has to do with your score if you're on the top for a while. And again, it has to do with the past year. It doesn't have to do with what you're expected to do in the future or whatever. It's what happened the past year. So it's an award for what you've already done, not for what you're going to do. And so, that's basically what he told me. There's no thanks for him. It was, what you did over the past year, you're being recognized for. And if next year you get booted out, whatever, and you could always come back in. It's whatever you've done for that given year.
Yeah, and now you mentioned that you're SMSing me, and I was sitting, from my on my end here, I was sitting on the couch with my wife watching some TV, and then I said, okay, here's an SMS from Scott. I mean, what is that? And then I read that and I said, look at that. I told my wife, look at this, you know. And again,
Yeah.
it was special, you know.
Yeah, well, that's great. Yeah, that's great. So I'm super excited. And so that was on, yeah, that was Saturday, and that's so you know about that. And then, but right before that, before it became evening, we did a group picture, and it almost looks like a drone took it, but it was actually think of it as a giant selfie stick. It was this camera that was on this tripod that went way up into the above the building into the air and took this picture. So you get the whole pretty much everyone that was out at the conference and the whole landscape, and it was just a really cool way to say goodbye.
Good. I let me mention something about the MVP as well. I just want to acknowledge my good friend Joe Craig, that was
Oh
also
yeah.
awarded, and last MVP meeting
Oh
actually.
right,
Yeah, and actually, the first MVP meet that we took part, uh, I just want to say, Joe, I mean, rest assured that this is not about DNN Corp filling the age quota that they had to fill. It's not about that, and that was a joke that Joe Craig mentioned. So it's not about that. I mean, it's about your contribution to the community. I just had a look today at the and again, Scott mentioned that it was the contribution for the past year, but again, Joe, you have been contributing to DNN in general for long 10, 11 years, and I just saw the count of posts that you have done on DNN Creative, and you have done over 11,000 posts there. So again, that's really well deserved title, as well as so again, I just want to salute and congratulate you as well, my friend. Anyway, carry on, Scott.
well, I guess that's pretty much it. And then, you know, the rest of the time, my wife and I just continue with our vacation.
Perfect. Okay, so again, thank you very much, Scott, for the recap there. Was it? I know the answer, I think, but was it worth? Was it a nice experience overall?
Yeah, it's a lot different than the DNN events that like the World and the DNN Con that we do here. In that it's much more focused, I think, on the community, on the development. There's no, although there are sponsors, you know, like ITM, DNN Corp, you know, Manage.com had some sponsorship. It's not, there's not a focus, like there's not a vendor area, you know, that we always have in the DNN World and DNN Con events. There's not a focus on vendors and that kind of thing, but there's just a focus on community and on development. So the sessions, one of the things when I talked to Don at our user group was, he asked me, well, what was the kind of the focus of the sessions? And I would say the one I did on the next gen development stack, which is like the MVC Angular Entity Framework, which is up now on DNN Hero. It kind of put together some of the technologies that are coming out, you know, in DNN 8, Entity Framework 7, and obviously Angular's been out, but being able to integrate it into a module is kind of a new thing for people. There's a lot of other topics that just focused on those individual topics. So mine was sort of a broad one, but at least gave you some code and working code to actually get these things working. But Joe Brinkman did one deeper dive into Entity Framework 7, which is still in beta. Charles Nurse talked more about the new DNN 8 SPA module development creator on the MVC, and Daniel Metler did great presentations on get mobile and on Angular. He's really good at Angular, so I'll probably do a next version of my Angular video using the concepts that I learned from him. And of course, Elon from Microsoft was awesome. He showed us all these the new stuff on ASP5, the newer, you know, Core CLR. And like I said, he could code during the sessions and get things working. I don't think I'd ever try that, but yeah, it was all on the next generation. A lot of it was next generation. How are we going to be developing? Come this fall on the new DNN 8 stuff.
Got it. Okay, very good, very good. So, yeah, uh, who knows? Maybe next one I should be there, and I hope that they plan another one in Europe as well for next year.
Oh, I'm sure they will. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so I still have a full agenda here. It has been a few weeks longer than what we usually have. Actually, by the way, I should have checked this beforehand, but I think that this is our 1 year celebration, Scott. So congratulations, we are here.
Oh, is it really?
I think
All
I think
right.
it is. I think it is. I was I was trying to remember to check that, but I'm quite sure that it has been a year now. So yeah, it's good to stick around for
Happy
this
anniversary.
the anniversary. I was trying to. I was asking my wife if we had a birthday cap, but I couldn't find any,
Yeah.
so I had to come with just my plain face. Anyway, uh, this guy, I have mine. Good.
Oh, did you buy it?
I bought it. I pre-ordered it, and I think
Oh,
that
nice.
yeah, I just got it about I don't know 2 weeks ago. So yeah, very thick, very nice.
And-
Great book, great reading, and actually, you know, it's an interesting book because it talks about the history of DNN, FYI. It talks about administration. It talks about development, module development. It talks about theming. So it's one stop shop for anything related to DNN 7. So very very nice reading. I mean, I'm really gonna use it as a as a reference book. You get it's one of the books that I saw. I've never seen so many authors that you need to put in 2 lines the name of the authors.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can see it. Yeah, but
Yeah,
again,
many of them were at the DNN Connect, so they actually gave out 10 of those books as prizes. So and 10 of them, and they got signed by all the authors. So you missed that.
that was a great one. Actually, I intend to
Yeah.
carry my book throughout the DNN events over the years because I'm gonna start to
So you'll get all the signatures. Yeah.
I'm gonna start to get their autographs, throughout the years. So again, great call, a great book. If you go digital, actually, I'm hoping that's my last physical book. Actually, I haven't bought a physical book for about 2 years now, and I don't think that I'll be buying. But again, this one here, it's like a souvenir as well. At the end of the day, it's
Yeah. I have the last book, which was, and I was surprised that was 7 years ago. The last book, the one with Mitch and the module development book with Mitch and Sean. Yeah, so that was a long time ago. This has been a long time coming for that book.
yeah. I
That
think
DNN 7
I
book.
think there were some other books DNN related after that. But again, not that major, series. Those red books. I don't know if they were from works as well, but yeah, it has been a few years, and I'm not sure. I mean, I can only think of how much work goes on to put a book like that together, But that's the reason why it does come out too frequently. Anyway, that's the end book. Let's carry on here. This is old news, but I'm gonna just mention 741 is out there since May 26th. One thing, actually, let me bring the screen here. Yeah, so 741 is out. An interesting thing that I realized on 741 is a release, Scott, of a module that they called Security Analyzer.
Oh, I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't either. When I start to check, the details of 741, I realized that there is this book called Security Analyzer, and not the book, sorry, this module. And the idea of this module is that you can install that module on a previous version of DNN, and that as early as DNN 6.2, and and this security analyzer will analyze the flaws and potential security risks of that version of DNN.
Oh, okay.
I got surprised as well when I saw it. I haven't tested yet, but it's definitely, I'd say, a hidden jewel on that 7.4.1 release, because from 7.4.1 onwards, they are including this security analyzer in the installation.
Oh, okay.
But you can also grab it separately, and the links will be all posted on the video post. You can get it separately, and you can install on any version of DNN as early as 6.2, and it will analyze a few aspects. That's interesting, because if you think about that, Scott, DNN never retrofit fixes to previous versions. It's always we will fix this on the next one, and fix this on the next one, and fix this on the next one. This is an attempt, and a nice attempt, actually, I have to recognize, of retrofitting some flaws and some fixes, because this module not only analyzes, but actually, I think that you can actually click on some options there that it goes and fix some stuff on older versions of DNN, you know?
Oh, okay.
Nice take. Again, I wanted to bring that to our attention. As I assumed, as myself, I was not aware of that. And again, as you can see, nor were you either. Carrying on here.
The one other thing is right before the conference, they dropped the CTP2 for DNN Platform 8 as well.
Very true.
I haven't had a chance to look at it. I assume the demo that I did for the next gen module development, I'm assuming it works still on the CTP2, even though I built it on CTP1. But I'll have to check that out and see if they've moved forward with any of the issues that I ran into with CTP1 as far as developing a MVC module.
Got it. Yeah, I'm just gonna quickly mention about that as well in just a second. But based on the last MVP meeting, the first one that I've joined, 7.4.1 is scheduled. 7.4.2 is scheduled to come out at the end of July. So they're still working on that, and the cutoff date for fixes and new features, not new features, sorry, but fixes and pull requests, I think that about that was actually yesterday. Today is Saturday, June 13th. So 7.4.2 is supposed to come out by July 29th. And as Scott was saying, there's a CTP2 for DNN 8, which came out May 22nd. Together with that, a few blog posts were placed out, were posted. A very good one from Joe Brickman about SPA modules, which I have the link here. Yeah, so SPA modules, I mean, it's not a technical dive, it's just an overview. But again, at the end of this post, he promised that Charles Nurse and Cathal Connolly as well, that they will be posting more in-depth blog posts. And actually, that was the next one. Actually, Charles already did the first one called Module Development in DNN 8, an introduction to MVC modules. So again, there's this in-depth post from Charles Nurse about introduction to MVC modules on DNN 8. That's a good segue, Scott, for what you were talking about. So those were two nice blog posts that I saw in the last few days. I also saw a third one from Tony Herrick about lessons in making better DNN modules, and it's not a technical dive, but it's a lot of great points about creating DNN modules, you know, in best practices and what to do, what not to do. Don't get interface over bloated with too many options, too too many options. So again, a lot of great insights into developing modules for commercial modules or single purpose modules as well. A lot of different great. I mean, it's a long post with very specific, I would say, feedback about developing great modules in general. So again, link will be posted on the video post as well. What else here? So DNN 8, the promise is the forecast, the idea, the goal is to have DNN 8 out by September, and again with full MVC module with spa modules. And again, that's the great thing is that content on the blog in the community blog is all leading up to to that moment that we have this DNN 8 ready. Content on DNN here as well from Scott. A lot of great content leading up and going that direction, and helping the community to start building the next generation of modules with the latest and greatest technologies used by Microsoft and by DNN as well. What else here? Okay, a nice community hangout back in June, June 5th, just over a week ago. It was about managing pull requests with GitHub, and that was done by Joe Brickman, and there was also Will Stroh there and Peter Dunker. So again, a very nice demonstration of the process they go through, or the people go through on managing pull requests and how things work on the DNN Corp and DNN community collaboration to improve the platform. So a very good talk about that on the past hangouts. The next hangout will be with it seems to be with Mitchell Sellers. It's always good to see Mitchell talking, usually a lot about performance. So I mean, he's an expert in performance. We actually just brought him over to a client the other day that was having a DNN performance issues. So again, that's the next community hangout. What else we have here? Okay, I did an interview with the guys behind Cart Viper just a few weeks ago. It was with Nigel Allen and Mark McVoy both from the UK. It was a good conversation about e-commerce and their Cart Viper module. Let me see here. Okay, so let me just get some water here. This one just came out yesterday, and I saw a lot of turmoil around this announcement from Manage.com. I don't know if you.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you saw that, Scott, but
yes, I did.
I have that open here, but I have some good news. I think I have some good news here. Okay. So I have this. So the first thing is that they have extremely simplified their offering, and on the shared hosting aspect of their business, they now have just 3 plans, quite expensive ones. I mean, they moved from a $20 a month hosting to a $99 a month hosting. Now that caught a lot of people out of guard and surprised, and actually on DNN Hero forums we have already a few people talking about that in a very heated way, I would say. Now I decided to stop and have a closer look at this. So if you see this page, and again the link will be in the video post, if we scroll down a little bit more, of course you're gonna be shocked by the $99 a month, but if you scroll down a little bit more, you're gonna see that they say, hey, do you need a simpler solution? And they provide a link to another one of their brands, which I used before. And again, it belongs to them. Just think about Manage.com as the old PowerDNN.com. so again, they are the same thing. It's still the same company. So, and they have this second brand that they call AppZone. AppZone.com is their brand as well, which they kept for $20 a month. So so my take on this is that they want to be seen to be they want Manage.com to be seen as a high value, high as they have a high level of support, which, to be honest with you, this $99 a month, what you're paying here is you're paying for hosting and you're paying for support as well.
Yeah, application level support.
In application level. So if DNN breaks, you can ask them to fix that. In a way, very similar to what we're doing at DeskPal. So I just want to mention that. But so again, they are providing support here as well. If you don't need that level of support, or if you don't want that level of support, that's fine. Just flip to their other brand called, again, and the link will be in the video post, called AppZone. And they still have what they call simple hosting for $20 a month. Their old pricing. Just because this is a separate brand, it doesn't mean that they have less quality here. It's still the same infrastructure. It's still the same people behind the scenes. Actually, if you click on the Start Now, you're gonna see in the URL that it's Manage.com. It goes to a Manage.com URL. So again, don't despair. If you still want to keep your $20 a month hosting, you can still do that via appzone.com, which is a brand that belongs to Manage.com. That's really my take here. Actually, I'm gonna post that on a follow-up on our forums, but keep that in mind. Of course, are you gonna have a hands-on type of support that you have with Manage.com on your website? No, you're not. So again, it's a very hands-off type of approach. They put out the website and the rest is with you. It's very similar to what you get out there with on hostings like GoDaddy or some other place. No, it's just the plain simple hosting. They don't support the application. They may provide some backups and things like that, but again, they don't go deeper into the support aspect, which is what you will be paying for when you go to a $99 a month package of Manage. So again, I don't see that as a problem. They were just not clear on saying that there is this other option right here, which is very similar to what you used to have with our old $20 a month offer, So again, I that's really my take. I wanted to bring this forward and to hopefully shed some light into that discussion. Okay. Anything from your side on this, Scott?
No, not really. I mean, it hasn't affected us at Blue Bolt because our clients are typically not doing the shared plans. They're doing the cloud VMs or the dedicated hosting, and they still look like they got priced up a little bit too. I can't remember exactly what they were before, but yeah, again, it just comes down to in some, there are a lot of cheaper options for similar hardware VMs or dedicated servers, but it's whether or not you need that application level support. So if you're getting spam registrations or you're getting performance issues, our clients without that, if they're not on Manage.com, they're going to be calling us and paying us to do it versus Manage.com where it's included. So and we're not 24/7 support, at Blue Bolt. So it depends on what you need,
Exactly. I mean, to be honest, there's no company out there that will attend to every single need in every single aspect in everything in every single niche. I mean, again, they are on Manage.com. It seems that they are looking for a different audience, which is fine, which is okay, and they have a second brand which is cheaper. But again, as you were saying, on the other offerings as well, they moved up a little bit on well, I don't know if it's a little bit or not, but they definitely move up. They definitely move up on the ladder there. I hope that that's a right move for them. I just want to finish this topic with by saying that PowerDNN and of course Manage.com, they are still the single biggest hosting company for DNN websites. Actually, I used to have an account in a site called BuiltWith, and BuiltWith is a site that is able to provide you with over 100,000 DNN websites addresses. But not only that, they also say where those sites are hosted. I just saw a chart from them, and about 35% of the DNN websites were hosted at PowerDNN Manage.com. So again, when those guys say that they are the biggest within DNN, they truly are, and that's not them saying. I'm telling that based on a third-party tool that is telling that, So again, just want to finish like that. Moving on here, we are close to an end, hopefully. We have mentioned this a few times already, but I just want to quickly reinforce that there is a new video that Scott posted called Next Generation of DNN Module Development Stack, MVC, Angular, and Entity Framework. It's live on the website, and yeah, I don't have the screen right here, but it's live there. The video, there's a link to that. Scott, do you want to, I don't know, mention anything about that particular one?
Yeah, for those who have been following some of my module development videos, I sort of have a progression there. So you start out with, say, the basic module built with Chris Hammond's template, with the code, the example code that's in there, and then people have been following me on when I did the client-centric, which is over a year ago, or maybe a year and a half ago, where I rebuilt that example code using Knockout and Web API for DNN7, and so that took that to a new level where you're no longer doing postbacks and all that stuff. And then last year I did that search demonstration where I took the same code and added search, indexing of your module content, plus being able to query the index to search your own module content. I took that entire code base and refactored it all into Angular at the beginning of the year, but then I took that again and refactored it. Not only is it still Angular and all that, but it's based on MVC now. It's an actual MVC module, and I tore the DAL2 data layer out of it and replaced that with Entity Framework. So I have a fully working module now that's based on those new technologies. Some of it will be review for people that have been following my progression of videos over the last year and a half. But some of the new subscribers will see that, and it'll be all new to them. But the nice thing is you can go back to those prerequisites and catch up on any unfamiliar stuff you have going on. And so I think that's just going to be a great intro. It's not too far away. We're going to start developing with this stack very, very soon in September. And what's going to come up probably when the actual DNN 8 release comes out is I'll probably do a more deeper dive into MVC when that gets baked a little bit better, because there was still a lot of stuff in the CTP that just simply didn't work. Module settings, module view navigation, it's not there yet, but it will be there. And so I'll do a deeper dive there. And the other thing that's going to come out, I don't know if I'll be the first, but for sure I'll be one of the few that will come out with an actual template, an MVC template that you can install in Visual Studio and build from that.
Let me ask you this, Scott, just for my own personal knowledge actually. This last video, is it applicable to DNN 7.4 as well, or this is just for DNN 8 onwards?
The MVC part of it is only applicable to 8, because it just won't work in 7. So if you're just talking about 7, you can just go back to my January video on Angular, which is just the web forms module in Angular. People that are wanting to start developing on Entity Framework 7, you can still do that in DNN 7. So you might take out just that part of it where I actually have a working implementation of Entity Framework 7 as my data access layer. You could take that piece out of it and still apply it backward.
Got it. Perfect. Okay. Okay. I just want to finish here. Unless Scott, do you have anything else from your side?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. So I want to finish as I promised. The idea is for every time that we come together, we bring a tip or something or a tool, something that we're using, And I do have a recommendation. It's not a tool, it's a website, it's a learning website. The funny thing is that this is a huge website, but a great friend of mine, I mentioned about this website the other day, and he was not aware of this site. And the site I'm talking about is lynda.com. I'm not sure, have you heard about Lynda, Scott?
How do you spell that? Just Linda?
Yeah, so you have not?
I don't think I have.
Man, let me tell you. Okay, so this will blow you away. I mean, this site was bought by LinkedIn about 3 months ago for 1.5 billion.
Wow.
This is a huge training website. It has topics from development, it's very heavy on graphics applications like Adobe, the Adobe Suite, but again from business standpoint. So it's awesome. I have a subscription of this website, and actually I'm a designer by hobby. I like designing. I like playing with forms and shapes. So I'm actually taking a course on Adobe Illustrator on this website. I'm not ashamed. I'm a developer. I'm a hardcore developer, but I like design. I like nice stuff. So in any case, this is my tip of the month. Lynda.com for about $30 a month. You can have access to a huge number of courses. They keep coming up with new courses every single month. Let me tell you, the quality of those courses are awesome, are great. I mean, a lot of what we do here on DNN Hero, I use their ideas, their concepts quite a lot. So again, huge website, lynda.com. You can go LI or LY. It will end up on the same site. Huge site, very good source of... Now, the funny thing is that there's no DNN related courses there. So again, you cannot find DNN related there. But every...
Well, that's good for us.
Well, I would say it's just us, but again, so it's a good complement to what we're doing at DNN Hero. But again, very nice website, very massive library. If you are interested in business topics and graphics topics, in development topics as well. I mean, Entity Framework, they have courses on Microsoft and on the whole shebang of Microsoft stuff, They're not DNN, but the rest, I mean, they have a huge library with up-to-date videos. Again, they are a very big operations. That's a site started by Lynda, I don't remember her last name, back at, I think at the end of the 90s. So again, they built a huge business there. And again, it's not every day that you see a company being bought by LinkedIn for over $1.5 billion, Anyway, my tip of the month. I think that we're done. 50 minutes. It was a good recap. Scott, again, we're in the middle of June. Our next one will be by the end of July. So again, we're gonna keep going at the very last Saturday of every month from now on. Enjoy your summertime. We can catch up in the middle of summer at the end of July. Okay?
Sounds good.
Perfect. Bye now.
Bye.